It's 3:40 p.m. local time in Vietnam. In preparation for takeoff, please make sure the seatbelt fastened, the seat back is fully upright, the tray table secure and the cabin crew check the vehicle level takeoff.
đó là chờ mình chừng. Để đó em. Ok ok.
OK?メーター OK?
Dạ.
Thank you.
Gầy thời số rồi.
Đấy. Nguyễn Thị Phương hả?
OK? OK?
Phương thì bây giờ xịn đó. Nguyễn Thị Phương đây. Mà chỗ nào chứ nhà hàng Kim Đỏ hả?
We are in a hurry. No time.
Vài đô la.
Không mà nó mới tơ rồi. Này, bà Tám Nguyễn Thị Phương.
いくら取られるんだろう。いくらもられるんだろう。もられる前提で。もられてもまだ安いからしょうがない。
3000円だったらしょうがない。
そんなにもられすぎやな。普通いくらぐらいですか？
何百円でしょ。タクシー9000円でしょ。3時間で9000円でしょ。
6分だったら300円だよね。そう3000円ですとか言われて。
しょうがない。
なんかお金
間に合えば
値段言われてもさ、すぐにいくらって分かんないからさ、怖いよね。
1万ドンで60円。
1万ドンで60円か。そうか。600円ぐらい高いからとして。あんまりでかい額出すとさ、これこれって抜かれちゃうから。Thank you。ほら、よかった。ということで、10万ドンでつけました。タクシーで、乗り合いタクシーで船まで行きます。よかった、間に合って。OK。Thank you。ちょっと遅れてるからここで待ってください。あ、ちょっと待って、忘れてた。
Love was holding all the cards and always kept me in the dark. I never thought I could shake this heartache until I saw your light, and it's got me feeling like life is good, yeah. Life is good, yeah. Yeah, in my darkest times, you got me feeling like I've been walking on air. Left all my worries and cares. I've got no burdens around you. I don't care who knows I love you. 'Cause I've been so lost without you. And in my darkest times, you got me feeling like life is good, yeah. Life is good, yeah. Yeah, in my darkest times, you got me feeling like
さ、矢印が2つ。こっちかな。すごいいい匂いする廊下。
Later on in the night, when the crowds have gone, we could talk under moonlight till dawn. We could stay and watch the sunrise, cancel all our plans. We don't need a
just can't. I wish I could stop time and stay in this moment, never think about going. Won't you stay with me for a little while? Got myself free falling deep into your eyes. You came to me without warning, but I knew why. I wish I could stop time and stay in this moment, never think about going. Won't you stay with me for a little while? Stay in this moment, never think about going. Won't you stay with me for a little while?
すごい人なんだけど、ここ人気なんだよ。めっちゃ並んでる。めっちゃ並んでる。すごいね。奥の方にもいっぱい人がいる。これイートイン、なんか椅子低くない？確かに。いい匂いがする。
cho mày hệ đâm ra đi bạn kia bạn đâu biết đâu biết con nó bạn kia bạn chị giá con mà lùa hết mà bạn á giờ giá con lùa hết con đi con mày mày
なんかちょっと美味しそうだね。
Your boots are on fire. I'll make you jump like you touched a light.